Hi everyone and welcome back. This is Ventures Level 2, Lesson 11, Part 3. This is Video 3. In this video, we're going to work on Unit 8, Lesson E. You are probably watching this video between May 11th and May 24th. This video was filmed on May 8th, 2020. Alright, so Lesson E is on page 104, page 104. Did I teach you about employment history? Let me teach you these words first. Maybe I didn't teach you these words, so let me teach you now. So let's start with the word occupation. Occupation means job, career, or position. All of these words are the same. It just means your job. How do you say this word? Occupation. Occupation. Or you can say career. Career, or position. They all just mean job. Up next, we have the word employment. Employment just means work. It's the noun. Employment means work. Do you have employment? Do you not have employment? Are you looking for employment? Are you looking for work? Employer. Employer means boss. Your employer is your boss. The employer is the person who pays you money to work. That is the employer. It ends with the letter R. The employee, with two E's at the end, is the person who works, is the person working. The employee is the worker. All right, wages. Wages, or the word income, means the money you make from working. So your wages are how much money you make from work. Your employment history. Remember, employment just means work. So your work history. This is all of your jobs in the past, all of your jobs before now. So let's say from 2007 to 2009, you were a cook at the restaurant Chipotle. And then from 2009 to 2018, you worked in an office. This is your employment history. All right, now back to the book. So let's talk a little bit. We have 3 questions here, but actually there's going to be one more. I'm also going to ask, what is your job? That's an important question. Okay, 1. What are some of your duties at home? Remember, the word duties means task or chores. We can use the word chores for things you need to do at home. So what are some of the duties you have to do at home? Maybe you have to cook food, or clean the house, or wash the clothes, or help the kids with homework. What duties do you have at home? Next question, what is your job? If you don't have a job, then you say, I do not work. If you do have a job, you can say, I am a construction worker. I am a cook. Or I work in an office. I work in a hair salon. So, what are some of your duties at your job? What are some things you need to do at work? Maybe you need to wash the vegetables, or you need to you need to you need to put things in packages, or maybe you need to cut hair. What are your duties at your job? What do you need to do at your job? Okay. And before you talk about this question, I want you to ask, what job did you have in the past? What jobs did you have in the past? What jobs did you have before this job? So before your job right now, what job did you have? And then what were some of your duties in your last job? In the job before now, what were your duties? Okay, so now we're looking at the employment history of Marco Alba. Marco Alba is the person in the last recommendation email. Okay, so we have to write the correct form of all of these verbs. These are all verbs in the blanks. All right, so Marco Alba is an orderly. An orderly is someone who helps nurses, I guess. They help nurses, or maybe they are nurses. He works at Valley Hospital. So here, we're saying he works with an S at the end because this is in the present tense. We're talking about now. So we say he works at Valley Hospital. He started, here we're using the past tense, started in 2017. He blank many duties. So we're talking about now. So we say he has many duties. What are his duties? He takes patients from their rooms to the lab. He delivers x-rays, linens, and supplies. He also takes flowers and mails to patient. Remember, the word take here means bring. Take can mean bring. He brings patients from their rooms to the lab. So he tells them where to go and he helps them go to the lab. He also brings x-rays, linen, some blankets, towels, and bed sheets, and medical supplies. He also brings flowers and mail to the patients. We use the word take. From 2015 to 2017, Marco, so this is in the past. We're talking about the past. So we say Marco worked. Marco worked at Sam's Soup and Sandwich Shop. Sam's Soup and Sandwich Shop. Seashells by the seashore. Sam's Soup and Sandwich Shop. He blank a bus person. So this is in the past, so we say he was. We're using past tense of to be, so he was a bus person. He cleaned the floor and picked up dirty dishes. From 2012 to 2015, he, again, this is in the past, so we say he worked at Fratelli's construction company. He was a construction worker. He, past tense of make is made. He made repairs on houses and operated. The word operate ends with the letter E, so we can just write a D at the end. Operated large machines. Okay, so now we have to write Marco's job duties now and in the past. So we know now Marco is an orderly. Or I'm just going to say nurse assistant. Marco is a nurse assistant. In the past, he was a bus person and a construction worker. Okay, so now let's list his duties, his job duties. So as a nursing assistant, he takes patients from their rooms to the lab. What else does he do? You can write them here. And then, in the past, as a bus person and a construction worker, what were his duties then? His duties are here. He cleaned the floor, picked up dirty dishes, made repairs on houses, and operated large machines. These are his duties in the past. All right, on to the next page. This page is about you. I want you to write this information about yourself. So we have the left side and we have the right side. The question is, do you have a job? Yes. So if you answer yes to the question, do you have a job? So if you have a job, I want you to fill out the questions on the left. If you answer no, I want you to fill out the questions on the right. Or you can do both if you want. I'm going to do both. So, what is your job? Well, my job is a teacher. I am a teacher. Where do you work? I work everywhere. I work at home. I work... Okay, I'm going to say, I usually work at school, but now I work... Now I work at home. I usually work at school, but now I work at home. Okay, what are your duties? Okay, my duties are teach English, teach life skills. So I teach you things like online shopping, how to use the internet, how to talk to doctors. These are life skills. These are things you need to do in life. Teach English, life skills, teach citizenship. Teach citizenship. These are my duties. Did you have a job before? Yes. What jobs did you have? I was a researcher. I was a researcher at UGA. So a researcher is someone who looks for information. So my job was to work in something called linguistics. We study languages. So we study how people speak English in California, in Texas, and in Canada. We learned about how people learn English. I was a researcher. I looked for information. I also worked in a restaurant. I worked in a restaurant. I made food, I cleared the tables, I handled money. I did all of that in a restaurant. Where did you work? At the University of Georgia. I worked at the University of Georgia. What were your duties? I collect information. For my researcher job, I collect information, have interviews, use computers. For my job at the restaurant, I prepared food, I cleared the tables, I washed the dishes. All right, so now let's do you have a job? No. So we answer these questions. Where do you study? I studied at, and then we say a school or a city. I'm going to say I studied at UGA. UGA is a college in Georgia. It's the University of Georgia. What do you study at school? Oh, I studied a lot. Okay, let's see. I did engineering. I studied engineering for more than 2 years. And then landscape architecture. I studied landscape architecture. So I studied how water moves on the grass. I studied plants, how people build roads and paths. All of that is landscape architecture. So like how people build parks or lawns or they plant trees. I also studied international affairs. So international affairs, I studied things like how economies work or how money moves around or how resources are spent or about governments. I studied languages. Studied a lot of languages. I studied statistics. Statistics is a part of math. I think that's it. It's a lot of stuff. Okay. Did you have a job before? Yes. I answered that question here. I was a researcher and I worked in a restaurant. Where did you work? I worked at the University of Georgia. What were your duties? These were my duties. So, by now you should have this side filled out or this side filled out. And from last week, you should have, give me 1 second. By now, you should have finished the lesson 10 writing assignment from last week. So last week, I gave you a writing assignment. You have to write something. You have to answer these 3 questions here. 1 question in the past and 2 questions in the present. So the questions were, what jobs did you have in the past? What years did you work? What skills do you need for that job? And then for the present, what is your job right now? What year did you start this job? What skills do you need for this job? And what job do you want to have? What skills do you need for this job? So I gave you an example. So this is my answers for all of the questions. So now, if you did not do this, I want you to finish this writing assignment before we continue. You can stop the video, and this is on the website, or you can look at the questions here. Okay, so now you have the writing assignment, and you have the answers to these questions. I want you to write 2 paragraphs about your employment history. In the first paragraph, you can write about the present. You can write about your job right now. Actually, no. I did it different, so let's not do it like this. I want paragraph 1 to be about your past jobs. In your first paragraph, I want you to write about your past jobs. So maybe 3 to 5 sentences. 3 to 5 sentences about the jobs you had in the past. In the second paragraph, I want you to talk about the present. In the present, I want you to talk about the job you have right now. If you don't have a job right now, I want you to talk about what you do at home. What are your duties at home? And then I want you to write one more. The third paragraph, I want you to write about the job you want in the future. So I want you to write about a job you want later in the future. And of course, you have to write this one in the future tense. So you say, I want this job. I will need to have this skill. I will need to do this. My duties will be. So I want you to use the word will when you talk about the future. I want you to write 3 paragraphs. Every paragraph is 3 to 5 sentences long. Okay? Thanks for watching. Bye.